Hi, this is Pastor Greg, coming to you maybe not live, but alive with hope and anticipation of all the opportunities we have to be God's people in the world. This week's opportunity comes to us from the 15th chapter of Matthew, where we hear the story of a persistent mother who comes after Jesus to heal her daughter. I want to tell you a story about a mother. An older lady came to church one Sunday. She was coming in the entrance like this. She was met by the nice usher, and the usher said, "Where would you like to sit?" She said, "Well, I'd like to sit really close to the front." And the usher said, "Oh, ma'am, you don't really want to do that. Our pastor is really boring." And she said, "Well, do you know who I am?" He said, "Well, no, I don't." She said, "Well, I'm the pastor's mother." "Oh," the usher said. "Do you know who I am?" he said. She goes, "No." "Okay, good." Mothers, parents, the things that we won't do and the lengths that we won't go to for our children when they need something. In Matthew 15, we hear about this mother that comes to Jesus because her daughter is sick. And Jesus does eventually heal her, but it takes a little bit. I encourage you to read that story in the Gospel of Matthew, the 15th chapter. But I want to talk about persistence. You know, God wants our faith to develop into a great faith. When we take a prayer request to God, we need to ask ourselves, how long am I willing to pray for this? How many times am I willing to ask? Are we willing to ask even if the answers don't come easy? You know, if we're not willing to persist in prayer, we probably won't see consistent results in our prayer life either. There's an old saying, God's delays are not denials. Just because we don't get our answer immediately doesn't mean that we won't get an answer eventually. Great faith is demonstrated by persistent prayer, like that mother in the Gospel of Matthew who is persistent after Jesus until he finally grants her request to heal her daughter. Keep praying. Keep praying even when God seems silent. I'm sure you've all seen the movie The Wizard of Oz, and you probably know that it's probably one of the most financially successful movies of all time. However, what you may not know is that it was made in 1939 and didn't show a profit until 1964 when the television rights were sold. It took 25 years for that movie to become profitable. And it became profitable only because MGM kept pursuing the movie. Eventually, persistence paid off big time. Friends, your persistence in prayer will pay off too. The biggest payoff of all is that your faith will grow in your persistent prayer. So keep praying as long as it takes. Thanks be to God.